Hello, this is Lynn, and I'm in the Quilter's Meow studio quilting. So I'm working on a Christmas quilt, and I'm trying to get it done and get it sent to a lady in Oregon. So here I am, just kind of quilting with one hand. It's not really that hard, but you just learn as you go. So I'm just going to let you watch me. I'm just kind of quilting on my my stars, and I did some free motion quilting, which means you guide the fabric, not the machine, which I enjoy doing. It took me a while to learn it. It's kind of intimidating, but once you learn it, I like it. So I'm quilting on my Husqvarna, my favorite machine, and I just recently purchased an embroidery machine, so we're going to have a lot of stuff coming, hopefully, and get a lot done, and a lot of embroidery and quilts and all sorts of stuff. I'm going to be working on some patterns too. This is kind of how I just kind of let the machine take it, and I quilt and I push it, and it's really like everybody else, kind of. You probably can't see me real well because I need my left hand to push some of it, but I'm kind of following a line right now. It's just the machine's guiding it, not me this time. It's not free motion. I'm just trying to outline some of this, the patches, and so I can so it'll be nice and quilted and hang real pretty for my friend. She bought the kit, so this was a kit I'm making for her. She just wanted it for Christmas. So I'm trying to get it done and get it in the mail to Oregon by Christmas. And sometimes you go a little off the mark, and that's irritating, but nothing's perfect, so you do the best you can. People have been asking me how I quilt and wanted to see it, and it's really just like everybody else, kind of, but you know, I do learn to do things on my own, in my own way, which everybody does. You just have to learn how to do it with one hand. I'm just trying to follow the line. And when I free motion quilt, I use these gloves, which really help. They got little rubber pieces on here. It really helps to move the quilt with your hands much easier, so it doesn't slide. And obviously I don't use the right one, but the left one works. This is the right, so I should give it to somebody. Sometimes I put my arm in there, and it'll work with Susie. That's what my arm's named. My family named my arm. Weird family, but anyway. But I'm not free motioning at the moment, so I'm just kind of letting the machine guide it. And maybe do my stars, individual stars on here, like these are little stars here at the bottom of the quilt. I have the rest already done. And then I'm going to do the binding and get it out in the mail. And then I back stitch when I finish. Makes it much easier than the old machines, because my machine, I don't have to push up a lever, and I used to push up the lever with this arm, and it started giving me a callus. It was hurting. So on my new machine, all I have to do is push a button and the pressure foot comes up, which is so nice. And people may not have thought that made a big difference sometimes, but it really does for me. Really makes it better. And I'm just cutting threads. I'm very particular, and I've always been very, mostly organized. I don't like too many threads all over the place. So now I just did like a meandering on the ground, and I did the trees. Here's the trees. And I did a meandering stitch around it. It's called stippling, and that's free motion. I guide it, but you can't really see it on the black. But I kind of outlined the tree and the house. There's the house. So, and now I just have to do the stars as the last one, because and then there's wording at the top that says peace on earth. So it really is a cute quilt. It's kind of fun to make, not real big, but fun to quilt and put together, and I hope she likes it. I just followed the pattern. It was real easy. And when you start, like in a quilt, you want to start in the middle. That way, as you quilt out, it stretches everything out, and there's no no bumps or anything. Now I'm just trying not to waste all my thread. It kind of got pulled out, so I will always rewind it so I'm not wasting a bunch of thread. Except this one I might change to gray. Gray is a great thread to use when you don't really want it to show up too much. And I'll kind of show you how I change the thread, which is real easy. I just rewind on my arm. Makes it easy. I've been doing this since early 90s, so I've learned little tricks, and they sure have a lot more, a lot better machines now than they did when I first started. So I'm just threading it with gray. I think that's gonna work. And there is an automatic threader on here. I don't know if you can see it. But I can't do it with one hand. It's just, you have to hold the thread over to the right, and it's just easier for me to thread it for myself. As I age, I'm sure my eyesight would love the automatic threader, but I just can't do it. It's just too much with one hand. At least I haven't figured it out yet. Maybe eventually I will. Usually figure out things on my own to see what works for me, but there's a few things I just haven't been able to master. Not too many, but a few. So now I'm going to start in the middle of the star and try and quilt what they call in the ditch, just kind of following the lines of the piece where I pieced it. Makes it an easy way to quilt. You don't have to come up with any design. You're just following the design of the star or whatever you're doing. I don't know if y'all can see this very well, but sometimes it's hard. And it's just go real fast when I'm going around designs too much. I will have a video on how I stipple. That way you can just watch me meander and go all over the place. And stippling is like it looks like a puzzle piece, but you don't ever cross lines. And I enjoy it. As I said, it took me a while to master it, but I enjoy it now. Sometimes I slow up, it just gets, smooth it out. You can see the stars there, it's pretty. I like it. as I do a section, I can unpin it. And I just keep it in my little tin box, all my pins, my quilting pins. And we're going to be doing some YouTube videos also, and I'll show you how I quilt and kind of how me and Susie do stuff together. It's so second nature to me. I don't think about it until I see a video of me doing something, and I'm like, yeah, that is different. Sure, yeah, I put gray on the back so you can't really see the back stitches very well, and I like that. Sometimes, you know, usually on the back you don't want them to really show up a lot. And I cut my threads on the back just to make it neat and pretty on the back. I don't know how well you can see all this, but I'm just... And there goes my kitty. She's going to look outside now. There's Maggie. She loves to sit while I quilt. All of them do. All of them really love to sit with me while I'm doing my work. And look out the window. I don't know how long we want these videos to go, but I guess it doesn't matter. See, I got to the square. I did the square out there. Now I'm going to do these little points. That way, the whole star will be all quilted down. I love a lot of quilting. It just keeps it nice and flat and solid and textured. Quilting can add a lot of texture. You gotta turn a lot when you're doing small pieces. See on the back I did the little wording. I don't know if you can see it, but I did the letters. I did all around the letters. Piece of kitty fur on there. She swiped her tail against the the phone. I think these stars are going to look pretty. this star. I have 4 more. And then the binding. And I'll be off to Oregon. Farthest one I ever sent was Australia. A lady bought one of my quilts and I sent it to Australia. It's for her daughter and she said they loved it, so I was happy. You can really see this sometimes. I know my hand gets in the way. I just have to kind of stretch and make sure it's lying flat. I like to do just the edge of that. Make sure it's nice and sits down really well. I don't usually use a walking foot. A lot of people use the walking foot for quilting, and it kind of feeds all 3 layers really well. I've never really used it a lot. I just make sure I baste it really well. And that's why I baste my pins really close. These are pin basting rather than, you can stitch baste, but I pin baste most of the time, and I just pin a lot. That way nothing shifts while I'm quilting. A lot of shifting. Some people have the long arm machines, which are the really big ones. I don't have one. Maybe someday. Long arm machines are really long, and you don't have to move and shift in a small machine as much. Nice and relaxing, looking out the window with my kitties and just quilting away. Kind of a long video, but my friend that's helping me, she said just let it run and talk. I guess we can cut it down later if we need to. So everybody says they wanted to see, so I'm going to show you how I do it. I'm self-taught. I've just learned as I went. A lot of trial and error. Sometimes it gets frustrating because you want to, whatever you make, you want it to turn out just right the first time, so you don't have to go over it again. But that's not like most things, you just gotta practice. Where'd you go, Maggie? stitch, and then I'm gonna cut it and finish the one star. And that one's quilted, just all by itself. It's I like when they're quilted, they look pretty. So I gotta do 4 more and then the binding. And then I'm gonna do my turtles. Been making some turtles for people. They're let me show you. Now these are some of my turtles. Stuffed, and I put a design on the back, and Quilter's Meow on the tummy, and I have a cousin that wants her granddaughter's name on the tummy, so I've embroidered her name. And they're kind of coming out cute. Just mostly to friends and family. I got the design, I got the idea of the design online, and then I changed it and just made it into something that I liked, or stuffed, and it's got stuffing inside, so it's a little different. And I put a tail on him. I just like the tail. So, and then I did this for my cousin's granddaughter, and I embroidered her name, Reagan. So I think that came out pretty good on my new machine, my new embroidery machine. Well, we've been quilting for about 20 minutes, so I've got some more to do. I just wanted to kind of show you at the beginning what all we're doing, and my studio, and I'll show you more pictures of the studio and stuff, and kind of what we're planning on the website, and lots of new stuff coming, so stay tuned. Bye. Bye.